Metal Gear Solid Delta is Snake Eater, Konami's version. The game has been developed by the combined development team of Konami and Virtuos Studios. The game's producer Noriaki Okamura claimed that these studios have a mix of new talents and veterans who are familiar with the original game, which helped the makers to combine fresh eyes and safe hands. Okamura said, "We had to sift out some old dev documents, but thanks to the expertise of some of the veterans who worked on Snake Eater, we didn't have to spend too much time figuring out preparation. We're also aware that there's an entire generation who have never played a single Metal Gear Solid game before." If there was one final thing that was just as clear as some of Metal Gear Solid Delta's improvements, it's how seriously Okamura and the team take the task of reviving Snake Eater. "There's only pressure all the time, every day," he says. "We have a lot of veteran staff at hand, but they're also aging out as well, so it might be the last chance for some of the critical members to work on these titles while they're still at the company. But it's our duty to make sure these games are still playable, not only to current players, but future generations as well." The right team for the job. It's no small feat to remake a revered classic like MGS3. Which is exactly why Konami and Virtuos Studios' combined development team has a mixture of talent new and familiar to the original, combining fresh eyes and safe hands. "We had to sift out some old dev documents, but thanks to the expertise of some of the veterans who worked on Snake Eater, we didn't have to spend too much time figuring out preparation," says Okamura. "We're also aware that there's an entire generation who have never played a single Metal Gear Solid game before." Revamped controls with traditional options. Keeping with the vital but tricky philosophy of ensuring Delta appeals to all, a strong focus has been on the controls. Traditionalists to MGS3 will feel right at home, but there's also an option that will feel natural to modern audiences. So if you prefer to play with a third-person camera on the right stick while being able to move and fire simultaneously via an over-the-shoulder viewpoint, you've got it. "Initially, our goal was to keep things as close to the original as possible," explains Okamura. "But obviously, over the course of 20 years, the way people play games has evolved and changed. So we looked at modern action games to ensure Delta was on par with some of those, so it doesn't detract from the experience." This definitely had a desired effect on my playthrough of the demo, where the changes to Delta created a satisfying illusion of how I remembered MGS3 controlled, even though it wasn't. The transition felt natural, smooth, and fun. And then there's the ever-intricate camouflage index system. Different uniforms, face paints, and disguises help improve Snake's chances of remaining unseen during his mission, but this is given a new dimension with the improved visuals. Roll around in dirt and mud, and Snake will get convincingly covered in it, increasing his camouflage. To test its enhanced faithfulness to the original MGS3, I dunked Snake into the Dremikage swampland mud, fully enveloping him. Admittedly, this was after accidentally drowning him in an earlier attempt. His entire face and body became dripping wet brown, his hair sludgy and slicked, and his camo index maxed out, rendering him practically invisible to nearby crocodiles.